Greetings and welcome to this discussion on There's Treasure Inside Book, Chapter 26, The Past and Future Box, the Word Search. Only talking about one topic in this video, but thank you so much for all your comments in the past videos. Just want you to know that as you mention other mechanics, other things to search, and what I show in these videos is not my only solution. I try very hard to keep all possible paths and solutions and combinations open. So every time we talk about a new concept, I try to go back and apply that concept to all of my other paths. None of them have resulted in a solve. People use that word, I've got this solve, that solve. These are all partial solves, meaning you can do a bunch of stuff to this word search and you can get a few words out of it, but until you get an exact location and or have a box in your hand, you don't have a solve. So today we're going to talk about something called Grille Ciphers. So I want to thank one of my past commenters for educating me on the name of this concept. Now, I've done this concept to a limited degree prior. I didn't know what it was called. So in the word search itself, this is the default word search, all the letters in their original places. I have color-coded this that the gray are the words that I found that I feel most confident about, including the word iota here, even though some people don't want to use that word. And there are some words that I'm not counting, like yeoman, as found words. This is just my personal preference. The gray and the green doesn't really mean anything for what I'm going to show you today, but I'm just orienting you. The green are the anagram only words. So up here, I have not applied the anagram. Later you'll see this. I have to do this twice, once without the anagram, once with the anagram. So this is just for visual reference. And then the remaining O's, the 19 O's are the red and the yellow O that I have in this 11 by 14 block. We're going to use this as what's called a grill. So imagine if you were to take a piece of paper, a blank piece of paper, and you were to lay it over top of this and punch holes where these O's are. Now you could take that paper and you could shift it around, like you could shift it into this this top corner, and you could see where do those O's line up with the letters below it. Pretty simple concept, right? So imagine none of this other color was here except for the red and yellow, and it would look something like this. So here is the original positions of the grid. If you read them from left to right, you will very easily see that they are all O. They don't spell anything. This is the location of the yellow O. If you were to go top down, left to right, same thing, but here's the bottom line. So this particular grill is currently sitting in the third row down, the seventh column from the right. So 3, 7 in this offset. What I've done is I've created this Excel sheet, which basically gives me what if you shifted the grill, so just the formatted colored spots, to any position. So here we have put it in the top left, in the first row, first column. If you read across ETRTHE, it doesn't give you much of anything. If you go down, PRHTAI, etc., and when you have the anagram tell you line them up, that could be possibly leading to using this grill if you think them is applying to the O's. There's not really any indication in this chapter that you should be doing this, which is kind of what bugged me, but I did it anyway. I feel like if JCB knew of the term Grille Cipher, and if you were supposed to use it, and if he considered this a simple or a basic cipher, then somewhere in this chapter he would use the word grill or barbecue or something that refers to a grill, the grill of a car, something like that. Possibly expanding that a little further, somewhere in the book overall he would refer to grill, and that could be a clue or a confirmer that you're supposed to do this method. I don't think that exists, and so this... Okay, let's not go down that road hole. So if I shift this into the upper left, if I were to shift this to the second row, first column, if I were to shift this to the third row, first column, etc., etc. So essentially my sheet here gets to a point where it gives you every possible combination, and there are 5 vertical rows you could shift it, and there are 7 horizontal places you can shift it till the grill falls in the bottom right. And then if you're really crazy like me, so you've got those 35 possible paths. You've got another set of 35 where you do the exact same thing, but now you overlay it on the word search with the anagrams having changed the positions of some of these letters. And so I really feel like if you're really going to do this right, brute force method is what I'm doing, you have to do both possible combinations. And in fact, if you want to see what it looks like, I mean, this is all 70 possible grill overlays that you have to check. Okay, now, before I go any further, what I want to address, one more thing is, so my grill includes the 19th O, but I've highlighted in yellow because I really think that there's only 18 O's, or at least that feels better to me, but it doesn't match the word 19. Anyway, we're not going to get into that. But the question is, okay, what if some of these other O's should also be included in the grill? What if the grill is not the correct size? So my thought there is there's 2 possibilities. One is you add all of the O's that are part of this grid here, plus let's take a look at the ones that are in the anagram. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 additional O's outside of this boundary that are part of the anagram. So what that essentially does is it increases our grid to be, increases our grill size to be 12 by 19. What that means is there's only 8 places you can shift that grill. So you can shift it 1 to the left or keep it in the second column. You can shift it 2 up or 1 down, so there's 3 extra possible places there. I did a little bit of playing around with this. I did not find anything favorable. Now, the other option is, okay, I only counted the greens. Now let's just look at the grays. So in the found words, if you included all the O's, and when I say this, what I'm actually saying is that you have all of the O's within this boundary. So it includes the gray and the green O's. I'm not excluding either one. What happens, though, is the furthest left is in the first column, the furthest up is in the second row, the furthest down is in the bottom row, and the furthest right is in the right. So you end up with this 14 by 20 grid, and of course there's only 2 possible solutions. It's either in this position or you shift it up by 1. The easiest way to look at what happens if you shift it up by 1 is you just look at the letter that's right above all of the O's. I should say I'm sticking to this grill here. I'm not really going to look at all of them. Have tried it in all the different positions, and what starts to happen is you start to see things jump out at you. Now, there's a lot of 3 and 4 letter words that jump out at you. Stats. This could be, again, state with an anagram. I don't want to go there. Peer. If you go over to this one, you're going to see, and this is the first one that jumped out at me, and I started to get excited, but then I realized it's my brain finding things that aren't really there. One, but you get 5 more. Oh, 5 more. This sounds like it's something, right? There's another one. Let's see if I can remember where it was now or find it. I've looked at this so many times. This one here. Do, tree, spot. If you ignore my 19th O, the. So like you've got 4 words here and then some gibberish. Oh, darn. That's nothing. It was close. September dot jeer. That's pretty interesting, but it's nothing. Okay, so of course, my brain has looked at all of these from left to right. I'm pretty good at looking at something from left to right and seeing right to left at the same time. So TMES is nothing. I don't have a good example. Here again is the word state, but there's nothing else in this row that really pops out at me. And then, yeah, top to bottom, same thing. So top to bottom or bottom to top. I have looked at all these possible combinations. I'm not going to make this spreadsheet available en masse or downloadable. If you want to do this, I would suggest that you come up with a way to do this yourself, because I think going through the effort to come up with all these combinations is going to teach you a couple things. One, it's going to kind of give you some glimpses to what JCB had to do in reverse to create this puzzle. And it's going to teach you how many times you end up getting what you think are words. I'll go back down here. Here's free, right? So in the English language, the frequency of common letters and then the great number of words in our vocabulary pretty much guarantees that within a 10 letter, any 10 letters, any random 10 letters with a common frequency pattern are going to end up with 1 to 3 4-letter words that are just there. If you start anagramming, you're going to be able to get at least 6 to 7 4-letter words. The place where you start to really find something is if there are 5-letter words or higher. Those don't show up as much. It's pretty interesting, actually. And then so what I would suggest is if you get something like this where it's like, oh, I've got 4 words here. I know this doesn't make sense. I'm just using an example. I've got, 15 out of 19 letters. Just spell something clearly without me having to do anything. Then perhaps I did something wrong here, and I can rejigger some of my my earlier steps to find something here. Like this could be something. It's not. I'm just giving you that spoiler. But I'm just giving an example. So like this is close. But something like this, even though when I look at this, there's a couple anagrams that sort of pop out in my mind, or towny. There's so much of this that is nothing that it's probably nothing. And yes, you could spend the time trying to make this something, but by the time you do that, you've really gone this confirmation bias route. I think that's pretty much everything I wanted to cover. Like I said, not much is popping out at me. There's a lot of 4-letter words that do pop out of me. And at first I thought that's interesting because a lot of them are the same 4-letter words that you can find in the word search. And then when I really thought about it. Here's an interesting one. No tree spot. So you're looking for a spot with no trees. I don't think that's anything, but okay. Uh, I mean, because this is not anything. But who knows? Maybe you'll find this grill interesting. NOTREESPOT. Whatever. Do with this what you will. What this reinforces to me though is that you can get 3 and 4 letter words from the entire grid that just happen to also be, and they're roughly, some of these letters like SERTN, these are the most common letters. These occur between 20 and 30 something times in this 300 letter grid. So chances are they're going to occur within the grill as well, if that makes some sense, just by frequency analysis. And chances are they're going to form some common word. So as you start to find things like that popping up over and over again, don't be surprised, I guess is what I would say. Where you really start to see things is like, and like, look at this, the word secret pops right out, but there's really nothing else here. Secret happens to like, ooh, this is sort of almost symmetrical. I don't think it's anything. Again, feel free to play with this grill. That just popped out to me. But again, S is a super common letter, E is a super common letter, R and T. The least common letter is C, and the fact that this is a 6-letter word is pretty good. But I think it's just another example of like, we are going to find false patterns in this data. Unless you find a pattern that kind of fits the entire 19 hole grill, I don't think you have anything. You know, when I just looked at this one here, it made me think, because of all the W's and Q, because of the Q, that I should put this through the substitution cipher. I'm not going to do it because, again, now we're putting a cipher on top of a cipher and then probably another anagram. And I don't think Jon is going to have done that, because that would just, or if he did do that, we're missing the instructions that tell us how to unravel this. I said a lot. I probably forgot to say something I meant to say, but my main point is I have tried taking this grill. I've tried putting it in all the possible places it can go. It doesn't appear to come up with anything concrete at this point.